Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at more fan-made Ninjago designs for minifigures coming from Brickalypse and his team. If you guys remember, I did indeed cover a few designs from Brickalypse earlier in a few videos of mine, and he has asked me to cover more, which I certainly was excited to hear about, because these designs are super cool, and they have come up with some really stellar designs that probably should be official minifigures. These are, of course, based off of designs that we either saw in the show or just designs of minifigures that probably should exist. But still, I highly recommend checking out Brickalypse and his Instagram page. I will leave a link to that down below in the description, so feel free to go ahead and check that out. And before we move forward, just remember that these are, of course, fan-made designs and are not technically official in the context of LEGO themselves. So why don't we go ahead and jump on into it. Let's take a look at some of the designs that Brickalypse has sent my way. Alright guys, so the first design that was sent my way is this excellent design for Teacher Zane. In case you guys don't remember, the ninja were pretty much teachers towards the beginning of Season 3, rebooted, and this is essentially what Zane looked like here. I really appreciate this design. It's both simple yet extremely effective. I love the design for the vest or the sweater right here. I love the snowflakes. Kind of reminds me of the Ninjago movie a little bit. I think this face print is excellent for Zane. Kind of shows him with a little more of a happier expression. And also, I don't really mind the bare legs or the bare arms. I feel like for a design like this, simplicity is key. And I feel like Brickalypse absolutely nailed this design right here for Teacher Zane. This is a very fun design, and if this minifigure were to exist in real life, I would totally try to get my hands on it. Next up, we have a potential design for what an Nrg version of Nia would look like. I really appreciate the dark red maroon color, as that was Nia's primary color when she unlocked her true potential. This form makes a lot of sense. I love the phoenix symbol right here. That looks really cool. I love the water trickling out throughout the entire design. Very reminiscent of what the Nrg Ninja were all about when they came out in 2012. Famously enough, Lloyd and Nia's Nrg figures were never produced, but this is essentially what Nia's would look like, and I think this is a very cool design. This is also the crest as well that would go on top of the helmet. That looks pretty cool, and overall I do appreciate this design. It makes a lot of sense, and while some people might have preferred a blue Nia, perhaps with lighter blue I guess detailing for the water, I think this design works extremely well. And speaking of the Nrg Ninja, here we have a design for an Nrg version of Lloyd. Some people could argue that the golden ninja variant of Lloyd is his Nrg version, but this is something that we have been truly waiting for a long time. As you can see, the golden energy just disperses throughout the entire design. That looks excellent, very much capturing what those Nrg Ninja were all about. I love the face print as well. That looks really cool, and this is of course the crest that would go on top of the helmet, and once again the overall design for the figure looks spectacular. Here's a fun one to talk about. This is supposed to be a young Sensei Yang, or Master Yang, however you want to say his name. This is of course based off of the flashback design that we saw for Yang during his flashbacks in Day of the Departed. Not my favorite Ninjago story ever, but this design is still really cool. I love the robe. It's very simple with the blacks and the grays. Kind of reminds me of Master Wu's black robe a little bit, except with gray writing instead of gold writing or whatever, and also the dragon is also gray. Very reminiscent to what we saw in the actual show, and once again this design is pretty effective for what it's trying to do. Yang is not my favorite character out there, though I have to admit this design is pretty cool for this younger version of the character. And all we need to do is just give him a hat and call it a day from there. I'm a really big fan of this design, even though Master Yang is not really my favorite Ninjago character. This design though is really cool. I really love this one. This is a young Garmadon, a young corrupted Garmadon, as you can see by the red eyes. The robe is excellent. The purple and the red looks exactly how it looks like in the show. I love the red dragon going across the back of the design. That looks spectacular. I'm not sure if you guys can tell, but the skin tone is actually a lot paler than what most LEGO minifigures are as well, further symbolizing Garmadon's corruption, further backing up this design, of course following the red eyes. I really want there to be a young version of Garmadon as an actual minifigure that you can buy, and considering how this is a design that we've been seeing throughout the show for about 10 years now, I think it's about time LEGO actually made something like this. But this design is still spectacular. Brickalypse did an excellent job making this. Him and his team did a phenomenal job putting this minifigure together, and if only we could get a young Wu figure one day too, then we could truly have the battle between brothers that this design is so famous for being a part of. Here's a quick and simple concept for a legacy version of Cole's face print for his ghost variants and his scar. I love the glowing green eyes on this version too. I think this looks really cool. And I also really love the concept of the ghost design being a part of Ninjago Legacy. I think that's something that needs to happen in the real world. And this design is pretty solid for a Cole face. It captures that Cole aesthetic extremely well with the eyebrows. And this design over here too is also not too bad. I hope Ninjago Legacy eventually gives us a ghost version of Cole, and I hope that final design looks something similar to this. Here is what a concept of Forbidden Spinjitsu Nia would look like. I'm a really big fan of this design for a couple of reasons. For one, the torso is excellent. Of course, those Forbidden Spinjitsu Ninja that came out in some of the spinner sets, those are kind of controversial for being a little, I guess, lazy, I suppose, but this design is anything but. I think this would be the best design Forbidden Spinjitsu Ninja if they were to make something like this eventually. I love the silver arms, very much going off of that silver and gold theme that the FS Ninja had established for those spinners, but what I really enjoy about this Forbidden Spinjitsu Nia figure is the face print, because this very much right over here looks like a combination between her Nrg variant, you know, the official Nrg variant of Nia, and also the regular human version of Nia. This almost seems like it could be a fusion of those two designs, with the markings carried over from the Nrg version, but the normal skin tone and normal facial features of the traditional Nia design. And if Nia eventually does return in the show next year for the actual TV series, I have no doubt that this design right here for Nia's face print might actually make its way into the show. I feel like this design is very much possible. This side of the face print is really excellent too. I love the waves splashing around Nia's eyes, but this face print right here is my favorite design from this figure. I really enjoy the rest of the design too. Of course, the legs are similar to the season 11 version of Nia, not surprising there, and just overall the Forbidden Spinjitsu Ninja aren't really my favorite, though this design is really excellent. I love what Brickalypse did with this design, especially with Nia's face over here. That just looks amazing. Branching off of the design that we just looked at for FS Nia, this is Forbidden Spinjitsu Cole, adopting a gold design as opposed to a silver design. I feel like the gold design really works for this version of Cole. We of course have seen Cole use gold in his designs before, especially in recent seasons, and in that context, I think the gold works really well with the orange and the black. I love the face prints as well. I really enjoy how this design is pretty much exploding with earth energy, while this design is a little more simple. I love the ghost scar as well, though part of me wishes that the scar on this design was orange. I appreciate the green design, it's more akin to what we saw in earlier Ninjago, but nowadays that scar pretty much lights up orange, so I wish that would have been orange instead of green. But still, this design is really solid. I love this version of Cole. Not my favorite Forbidden Spinjitsu Ninja design, I much prefer Nia's that we looked at earlier, but this design is still great nonetheless. I love the gold and the orange combo going on in the arms, and overall, if they do make a Forbidden Spinjitsu version of Cole, I have no doubt that it would look something similar to what Brickalypse has designed right here. And for the last design that we're going to be taking a look at, Brickalypse has sent me this design for a Season 10 or March of the Oni version of the Kimono Nia that we saw in the show. This gorgeous blue kimono actually existed in the show for a brief period of time during March of the Oni. Not really sure what the significance of that kimono was, but Nia was seen wearing it, and this design is excellent. I love how this is just a spitting image of what we saw from the show. The only thing that I don't really care for about this design is the face. The blue eyes are a cool concept, but I don't feel like this blue-eyed version of Nia works well with this kimono. I feel like the traditional Nia face would look a little bit better with this kimono, though the blue eyes one would very much be compatible with stuff from Seabound, for example. But that's just a minor complaint on my end. This design is still spectacular. I love how this kimono, like I said, it's very accurate to what we saw in the show. I love the phoenix symbols going up and down here, and overall I appreciate this design existing because I feel like this is a figure that we definitely need within the context of real-life LEGO. LEGO needs to make something like this, and they should totally use this design right here as a reference because this design is amazing, and I feel like Brickalypse did an excellent job at bringing the Kimono Nia from March of the Oni to life using this design. As mentioned earlier, I'm not a huge fan of the face that was chosen for this design, but I feel like overall, as an entire concept, this is nothing short of excellent. So thank you guys so much for checking out today's video. Thank you very much to Brickalypse as well for sending me some of these designs and working closely with me to make this video possible. Thank you very much. Once again, I will leave a link to his Instagram page down below in the description, so feel free to check him out, give him a follow, tell him I sent you, whatever works. Thank you guys very much for watching this video right here. Let me know down below in the comments which design you thought was the best, and which designs would you like to see as official LEGO minifigures someday. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comments, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description for my other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys very much for checking out this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.